welcome to another episode of Science Monitor, a show that brings to you the most significant news from the world of science, technology, innovation, research, discoveries and much more. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are this week's headlines. Regional Medical Research Centre to be set up in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh to conduct research into the infections of children, including Japanese encephalitis. Researchers in Nagpur University develop a new formulation for treating patients who have developed multi-drug resistance to urinary tract infection. Scientists at IIT develop a new material using silk that can make the process of bone cartilage repair faster and better. Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Fellowship Program announced by the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. The top story this week: the reasons for the tragic death of infants and children at the BRD hospital in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh will be known once the government's high-level inquiry concludes. However, medical experts believe that Japanese encephalitis, part of a spectrum of diseases called acute encephalitis syndrome, is the likely cause. In fact, the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program states that 3,090 deaths in 5 years have been reported from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal and Assam. Science Monitor brings you this report on the nature, causes and treatment of this disease.
The monsoon season is here. While it brings drizzling rains and relief from summers, it also increases the risk of acquiring viral infections like Japanese encephalitis. Japanese encephalitis disease is transmitted through infected mosquitoes, and the cases increases at this time of the year around monsoons when the mosquito density is high. In Asia, Japanese encephalitis disease affects nearly 50,000 people every year and is responsible for over 15,000 deaths annually. JE is present in many countries of Southeast Asia, including India. JE is characterized by symptoms in 3 stages. The first stage is fever. It could be accompanied by stiffness in the neck, lethargy, irritability, or loss of consciousness. The second stage is acute encephalitis involving the central nervous system, that is, inflammation in the brain. The third stage is marked by either a recovery or an irreversible injury to the brain cells or neurons. The irreversible damage to brain neurons could cause paralysis, difficulty of speech, mental impairment, or ocular palsy. Ocular palsy is damage to the eye that affects the movement of the eye, and affected individual is unable to maintain normal alignment of the eyes. JEV infects mostly children who are in a dynamic state of brain development, and therefore neuronal injuries have consequences later in life.
The initial symptoms are fever and headache, and maybe sometimes even vomiting, and gradually it advances into further symptoms like fits or unconsciousness. The virus has a you can say a kind of friendship with pigs and water birds in that area, and there this virus multiplies, and the mosquito goes and bites the pigs containing the virus, and then the mosquito becomes infective, and now it can go and bite a human being, and then the human being gets affected. Most of the patients are between the age group 1 year to 10 years.
Japanese encephalitis infection is transmitted in humans by mosquitoes of the Culex species, and to some extent by Aedes and Anopheles species. The mosquitoes breed in stagnant water, paddy fields, ditches and pools. Interestingly, humans are not the primary host of JE virus. The virus multiplies in reservoirs in animals such as pigs and some species of water birds and is transmitted to humans by mosquitoes, where it causes the disease. To prevent Japanese encephalitis disease in humans, a vaccine is available. But if a person gets infected, there is no specific antiviral drug available for JE. The therapy given to the patient consists of supportive care and management of symptoms. Prevention remains to be the best strategy to mitigate JE disease. It includes implementing methods to curb the breeding of mosquitoes, using mosquito repellent ointments and wearing full-sleeve clothes, especially in areas known to have encephalitis-infected mosquitoes.
Personal protection can be provided by a vaccine, And as you know, Government of India has provided this vaccine free to people in all the affected districts, and this vaccine, if taken at appropriate doses as devised in the program, can prevent people from getting infected and getting the disease. If somebody develops fever in that area with headache and vomiting or any combination of this, they should go to nearest hospital or healthcare facility for early diagnosis and treatment.
To study child diseases in encephalitis affected areas of Uttar Pradesh, the Union government recently approved setting up a regional medical center in Gorakhpur with a sanction of 85 crore rupees. The institute will play an important role in conducting research and find their possible reasons related to infections of children and newborns.
Urinary tract infection or UTI affects men, women and children from all age groups and are a leading cause of hospitalizations worldwide. To complicate the problem, the infection-causing bacteria are gradually developing resistance to available drugs. But now, a team of scientists at Nagpur University have found a new formulation for treating multi-drug resistant urinary tract bacterial infections.
Urinary tract infections, UTIs, are infections in one or more organs of the urinary system. UTIs can affect a person of any age and sex. About 40% women get infected with a UTI at least once in their lifetime. A majority of cases of urinary tract infections are due to the bacterium Escherichia coli. These are found naturally in the intestines of humans and many animal species. But a subset of E. coli is capable of causing extra-intestinal diseases such as urinary tract infection. This subset of E. coli have special set of genes that code for virulence factors that allows them to evade the human immune system and cause the disease.
Urinary tract infection is the infection in the urinary tract, kidneys, ureters, bladder or the urethra. Bacteria grow in the urethra or the bladder and that can cause pain or difficulty during urination. Urinating more frequently, pain, weakness, tiredness, fever, chills, nausea and vomiting are some of the symptoms of UTI infection. Urinary tract infections are the most commonest infections with an increasing resistance to antimicrobials.
The UTI-causing bacteria are gradually developing resistance to available drugs. To overcome this problem, scientists at the Department of Biochemistry, Nagpur University, have developed a new formulation that makes the antibacterium drug chlorogenic acid more effective. Chlorogenic acid is a potent antibacterial that is used for treating bacterial infections. But it is metabolized in the body within a few hours that reduces its availability in the body. Now scientists have made chlorogenic acid tablets with 3 additional components. The first component, hydroxypropyl methylcellulose, provides a matrix-like structure that helps to release chlorogenic acid in a slow and sustained manner for up to 12 hours. The second component, sodium bicarbonate, produces effervescence or gas that helps the tablet to float in the stomach, that prevents it from descending early into the intestines, which further improves the sustained release. The other 2 components, magnesium stearate and talc, provide lubrication and help the tablet in gliding through the oral route. The new formulation will help treat multi-drug resistant urinary tract infections caused by the bacteria Escherichia coli.
This new compound is a drug formulation in the form of a sustained release oral floating tablet form with a BID dose. It has good efficacy as an antibacterial. It has a 3-pronged approach, that is, it works against beta-lactamases, it works against penicillin binding proteins, and it is also working against folate pathway enzymes.
According to the scientists, the new drug formulation helps inhibit beta-lactamases and also blocks penicillin binding proteins, thereby becoming more effective against MDR Escherichia coli. Beta-lactamases are produced by bacteria to escape death from antibacterial drugs like penicillin. Penicillin-binding proteins are produced by some bacteria. These proteins bind to the drug penicillin, making it ineffective.
This technology we have transferred to the industry And while transferring this technology, there are many things which the industry is going to help us. They are going to conduct the clinical trials. After conducting clinical trials, the drug will be available in the market very, very soon.
The research was funded by Rashtriya Uchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, Maharashtra. In addition to reducing medical costs, the new drug formulation will be an effective tool to save many lives.
It's time for a very short break here. When we come back, we will visit IIT Guwahati, where researchers have developed a new material using silk thread to accelerate bone cartilage repair. But that's after a short break. Keep watching Science Monitor.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching Science Monitor. Osteochondral defects are diseases and injuries that disrupt the bone cartilage interface at the joints like the knee, elbow and even the spine. The natural repair and regeneration of such an injury is usually very slow. Indian scientists at Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati have used silk, the fine thread of popular Indian saris, to develop a new material that can make the process of bone cartilage repair faster and better. Science Monitor tells you about this new material.
Silk saris are popular among women as an Indian ethnic wear. In a new study, Indian scientists have used silk to make a material that will help patients suffering from joint pain and injury. Our body is made up of an internal framework of bones called the skeleton. It provides structural support to the body because bones are hard and rigid. To allow movement, bones are connected to each other at joints through cartilage tissue. Cartilage is a firm tissue but is softer and much more flexible than the bone. For example, at our knee joint, bone of the upper thigh, femur, is connected to the bones of the lower leg, tibia and fibula through the cartilage. Cartilage tissue is made of specialized cells called chondrocytes. These cells produce a protein collagen, which helps the cartilage to repair after an injury. But the natural repair and regeneration of cartilage is slow. Now, a new material can make the process of bone cartilage repair at joints faster and better.
We have looked in vitro the compatibility of this matrices, what we have used, where we have used silk as a base material to electrospun into nanofibrous mats, in addition to bioglass, which is looking or mimicking the bone interface. So through in vitro results, we have found promising cell adhesion and cell proliferation and high level of gene expression. And also we have implanted this in the animals, and we have found great compatibility without any immune rejection. Now this Indian silk, what we are using, is having a lot of advantages. Particularly it is having cell binding motifs called the RGD sequences, which allows cells to and proliferate at a faster rate.
In some diseases and injury, the bone cartilage interface at the joints is disrupted. These are called osteochondral defects. The symptoms of osteochondral defects are pain and swelling in the joints. If osteochondral defects are untreated, they may eventually lead to a limited range of motion at the joints. They may be treated using a plaster cast if they are detected early. A plaster cast is a bandage stiffened with plaster of Paris. It is molded to the shape of a fractured limb and is used to provide support. But in some cases, a surgery is needed to repair the bone cartilage interface. A known method for treating this problem is autologous chondrocyte implantation. In this method, a surgeon withdraws patient's cartilage tissue through a biopsy. The tissue is sent to a lab where chondrocyte cells from the cartilage tissue are isolated and cultured. After 6 to 8 weeks, a high number of chondrocyte cells are implanted back at the site of injury, which increases the rate of repair and provides relief to the patient. Although this procedure has a high success rate, it has some drawbacks. It relies on donor tissue, is costly and time-consuming. Now, scientists at the Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati have developed a material that will help in healing bone cartilage interface defects faster. The new material is made by fabricating a layer of silk on bioactive glass to make implantable silk mats. The results were published in the journal Applied Materials and Interfaces, Volume 9, year 2017.
In the future, we are planning for further greater animal trials where we would be implanting this to goats and sheep, and then we'll look more in details how it works in terms of regenerating the particular disease tissue. And of course, in the future, once we get this animal data, trial data, we would go further for human trials so that it can be taken to the market.
The silk mats can help in treating osteochondral defects because they have special properties. They have a porous sponge-like structure that helps chondrocyte cells to attach and grow. The cells produce more collagen at the site of injury,
which could heal the osteochondral defects faster.
Silk mats are yet to be approved for clinical use in humans, but if found safe and effective, silk mats hold great promise for improving clinical practice to repair osteochondral defects in the future.
The Department of Science and Technology, Government of India and the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum have initiated the Solar Energy Research Initiative called the Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Fellowship Program. The idea is to encourage research on critical environmental issues ranging from climate change to energy conservation.
The Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Fellowship Program, a joint initiative of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India and the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, aims to nurture future innovators and scientists in the field of solar energy. The fellowship will also foster contacts between students and scientists from India and the United States. The fellowship will cover a range of subjects in the field of solar energy like solar photovoltaic, solar thermal, energy storage, system development and grid integration.
Yeah, base fellowship, as we conceptualized it, was to develop the critical mass of researchers in the country which could supplement our national mission on solar energy. You are aware that we are going to set up 175 gigawatt of solar energy and we need critical number of researchers. We found that the number of researchers in this area were very few, and if we have to mount on a national mission, we would need large number of researchers who are exposed to the world-class facilities.
The Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Program is available in the form of student internships and fellowships. For the internship program, the candidate has to be an Indian citizen and must be pursuing a PhD as a full-time scholar in the field of solar energy in a public-funded research and development laboratory, science and technology institutions, or any other recognized academic university or college in India, up to the age group of 32 as on 31st December 2016. For the fellowship program, the candidate must have a PhD in life science, biotechnology, or engineering. They must be working in universities or colleges in India and are not more than 45 years. Applicants must have papers in international journals and conferences. The fellowship program is only open to applicants working in the field of solar energy. Every year, 7 vacancies are available under this program.
We have actually 2 tracks in this fellowship. One is actually for the researchers who are doing PhD, and the second one is slightly higher level for fellows actually, who have to be, at least they should have a PhD, and then they should be working in a government institute.
The applicant should have a letter of acceptance from a reputed US scientific or technological institution where he or she would like to undertake the research work under the BASc Fellowship Program. The tenure of the fellowship is 3 months, which can extend up to a maximum of 12 months. The last date of submission for students' internship and fellowship program is 31st August 2017. The selected Indian students will get an exposure and access to world-class research facilities in US institutions. After the successful completion of the BASc Fellowship Program, the students can have exciting career options from working in regional technological institutions and IITs to high-tech CSIR laboratories. The Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Fellowship Program is an initiative by the government of both India and America to provide world-class exposure to the upcoming scientific minds and nurture their talent in accelerating the solar revolution in India.
It's time for a short break, but stay tuned for more interesting science news on Science Monitor.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. Let us now take a quick look at some more scientific innovations and developments from India and around the world.
Indian scientists are working on the world's biggest telescope. It will provide astronomers with unparalleled power to observe the universe. The system for the telescope, a multi-million-dollar project, is being developed by an international consortium including India, US, Canada, Japan and China. The gigantic telescope is scheduled to be ready by 2020. Marianne Diamond, a neuroscientist and professor of biology at the University of California, Berkeley, died at the age of 90. She became famous when she examined preserved slices of Albert Einstein's brain and made significant findings about the development of nerve cells in the brain. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, says it plans to launch a full-fledged niche Earth observation satellite called the Hyperspectral Imaging Satellite or HISIS using a critical chip. ISRO is endeavoring to enter the domain of operational hyperspectral imaging from Earth orbit with a satellite that can be seen in 55 spectral or color bands from 630 kilometers above ground. Wildlife biologists have sighted an Indian sand snake in Seshalam forest at Tirupati Hills, 74 years after it was last spotted. It was seen in 1943 in Bandipur near Western Ghats adjoining the Mysore Plateau. After that, it is by far the clearest sighting of sand snake in South India. Sky gazers witnessed the Perseid meteor shower on 12th August when the Earth passed through a stream of dusty debris from the comet Swift Turtle. The scientists had confirmed that no special equipment was required to watch the sky show. Scientists have developed a super strong flexible adhesive material inspired by the glue secreted by slugs that sticks to biological tissues without causing any toxicity. The tough adhesive is biocompatible and binds to tissues with a strength comparable to the body's resilient cartilage, researchers said.
And in the history of science this week, we remember Pierre Jensen, who discovered the second most abundant element in the universe, helium. Ever wondered how we discovered this wonderful gas that propels the balloon to fly so high? We are all quite fascinated by balloons that float so easily up and above. It is helium that helps the balloon to fly high due to its low density. On 18th of August 1868, Jensen noticed a bright yellow line in the spectrum of the chromosphere of the Sun during a solar eclipse, which he was observing from India. This, he thought, was an indication of a new element. For over 30 years, it was assumed this element was only present in the Sun. The spectral line was also observed by Sir William Ramsay in a laboratory in the year 1895. He conducted experiments and found that clevite, a uranium mineral, contained helium. Helium is an inert gas that does not easily combine with other elements. There are no known compounds that contain helium, although attempts are being made to produce helium difluoride. The colorless, odorless, tasteless noble gas is known to be the second most abundant element in the entire universe. Janssen's discovery was a path-breaking moment in history which ignited scientific minds to further explore its potential. Today, helium is very prominently used in many important sectors. For weather predictions, scientists release helium gas balloons in the atmosphere. Also, the tires of aeroplanes are filled with helium gas only due to its low density, which easily lifts the plane in takeoffs. Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. You can send your feedback and suggestions to Science Monitor on our email ID news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Kutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. We'll see you again next week with another episode of Science News and Innovation. Till then, goodbye and take care.